Hey, welcome to day 2 of New Start Discipleship. I am so excited to have you back along today. Get a hold of your notebook. If you don't have one, go purchase one at the website. And if you are here to get started and to roll with this, let's go. Okay. Yesterday we did Luke chapter 1 and 2 about the birth of Jesus, but today we're going to jump across and pick up John chapter 1 especially verses 1 through 18, and that is going to be about who this Jesus is. All right. So the way the Bible does things, a lot of times it just flows in the story in the moment and doesn't stop to explain and tell you, here's who this person is. Here's what's really going on. It develops it as a story with different emphases and different ways and different places. And so in Luke chapter 2, chapter 1 and 2, when Jesus is born, he's not taking the time to explain who this Jesus is. He's just telling the story of what happened. Now, in John chapter 1, we're going to pick up who Jesus is. And he says, in the beginning was the Word. Now, why is Jesus called the Word? Well, the Word is, what is a word? Well, here's what it is. It is a unit of communication. All right, a word is a unit of communication. It is something we use to package meaning and pass it from one person to another. Package information and pass it from one person to another. We communicate using words. Jesus is God's way of communicating His love to us. You see, God could have just written it in the sky. He could have done a lot of different things. He could have, put a sign up on every corner in the world and said, I love humanity. But instead, when He wanted to communicate His love, He came instead. He sent His own Son. Now we're going to keep going. The Word was with God, okay? And the Word was God. Now in this little picture here, we see the doctrine of the Trinity. The word Trinity means tri-unity. It means 3 and 1. And so God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, who we'll meet later. And He is a 3 in 1. There's one God with 3 persons, right? 3 centers of personality, 3 different entities that are one substance, 3 different persons, one substance, each one with their own center of personality, mind, will, emotions. And we are created in the image of God in the same way. So He was with God and He was God. So we start seeing this idea of the Trinity reflected here in John chapter 1. And it says He was with God in the beginning. So He's eternal. Through Him all things were made. So He's uncreated. Through Him all things were made. And without Him nothing was made that has been made. So He is all-powerful. He's eternal. He's with God. He is God. He is co-sovereign with the Father. He is completely able to do whatever God does. Now, I'm going to pass down a little bit further, and we're going to go down to two more key things in this passage. First of all, in verse number 11, He came to that which was His own, but His own did not receive Him. We didn't open our arms and say, Jesus, welcome, you're here, and I'm glad. We didn't say that. Instead, the world and the world's system did not receive Jesus. He was an outsider. He was rejected by most of the powerful and rich and wealthy and important of his day. But then it says, look at verse 12, yet to all who did receive Him, and that's you and me, right? That's those of us who have trusted in Him by faith and we have started a brand new walk with God. To those who did receive Him, to those who believed in His name, He gave the right to become children of God. You are a son, a daughter of the Most High God. You have been given that right because you believed in Jesus. That's awesome. Verse number 14, the Word, that's from verse 1, right? That's Jesus. The Word became flesh and made His dwelling among us, and we have seen His glory, the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. A lot of people are full of either grace or truth. They can yell at you and tell you the truth, or they don't want to mess with the truth. They just want to be kind and sweet and gracious. Jesus is full of both. right? He is absolutely true and absolutely reliable, and yet he's incredibly gracious at the same time. Remaining what he was, fully God, he came down and became what he was not, fully man. Jesus is the God-man, fully God and fully man. One of my little kids, I've got 7 kids, and one of my little boys yesterday said to me, "Dad, is it true that Jesus is half God and half man?" And I said, "No, that's not true. He is all God and all man. He is fully unified, one God, man, right? God and man at the same time. Remaining what he was, he became what he was not. And that is the great truth of our gospel that we preach. God bless you. Check out your journal, do the activities, pray all this back to God. I'm excited to get started with you on this journey.